Hi, I'm Lucas Mack. I'm a former TV reporter, a published author, TEDx speaker, musician, advertising agency owner, and management consultant. I'm also a former Christian preacher who dedicated 15 years of my life searching for truth and love. I've done a lot of work to heal, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Lucas Mack, the host of this podcast, and I'm so honored to have you come along this journey. This message has been stirring in me for quite some time, and I want to share it with you today. I want to share part of my journey with you. I've talked a lot and shared a lot of my journey, but there's people that are stuck right now that I'm encountering, and they're stuck because of an outside narrative that is controlling and hindering the freedom that every soul on this planet can have. But there is an obstacle in the way, and I want to talk about that obstacle. I've talked a lot, and I've had people on here referring to the Great Awakening. I've had Champ on, the creator of the Great Awakening map, Alois, Lawrence from Spiritual Oneness, my beautiful sister, Bijal from Infinite Light Studio. I've had a lot of beautiful souls on this podcast. But one thing that I want to share with all of you is that if you are allowing, and I do mean the word allow, because no one can force your will. The law of free will is the greatest law that we have in the universe. The law of free will, that nothing crosses your will. So when you allow another's narrative to become your narrative, you've actually subjugated your own authority to another's authority. And why this matters, why I'm talking about this today, is so many human beings, sentient, sovereign human beings on this planet at a very early age and generationally passed back thousands of years, have allowed themselves to vacate their authority in place of another authority. And that other authority typically uses and discards the human being at the pleasure of that greater authority's discretion. And typically, look at our world right now. There are 5 major religions on the planet: Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. There are all these native forms of spirituality, the tribalism, the shamanisms, all these other, and there's ancient religions, there's Shintoism in Japan. The world has been ordered and structured by authorities and has left the human at the low level to seek light, to seek love, to seek truth through all these different blockades, these barriers to truth, to love, to light, to God. I have a good friend of mine who was a Christian, and he converted to Orthodox Judaism. And this beautiful black brother of mine told me something before you get baptized in Judaism when you convert. And he said right before he went under the water, he heard the words, "If you deny me before men, I will deny you before my Father which is in heaven." And that's a verse in the New Testament that Jesus says those words. And he heard those right before he went in, and then he came back out. And I thought a lot about that because I know that verse very well. And I thought, is that God speaking to him? Or is that guilt speaking to him? How many times have you confused guilt with God? Or God with guilt? You see, the Bible says where the Spirit of the Lord is, the Spirit. Now, Jesus says God is a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Spirit and in truth. God is not a man. God is not a physical being. God is a spirit. So when the New Age world refers to connecting to spirit, connecting to source, connecting to universe, connecting to whatever, they are actually speaking of that spirit form. But the Romanistic world, the path of Rome, has always talked about the idol form of God. That's why they build all these statues of gods. That's why actually mankind and all religions have always built statues to represent in physical form the spiritual truths that they learn. So when Jesus says God is a spirit and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth, what do you think that means about you and I? Those that worship him must worship him in spirit. Oh, our spirit. And in truth. Now, truth makes us free. Guilt is the complete antithesis of freedom. Because guilt is shame, guilt is bondage, guilt is control, guilt is fear, guilt is all these things that do not lead to your freedom. Only truth leads to your freedom. So then you must then look at yourself and say, am I free? Am I free in all things? Am I free physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally? In all my beingness, am I free? And many people who profess truth are the least free, and in that profession of truth make others less free, because freedom allows you to walk wherever, whenever, with whomever, and know I am in alignment in my spirit and I am in alignment with truth. How? How can this be? It can only be by love. Love is the universal principle by which all existence is allowed to be. Love, which always gives. That's why when people choose fear, when people choose control, when people choose the 3D existence instead of the 5D existence, love says, I will give you exactly what you've chosen. There is not this angry, vindictive, controlling spirit that is going to crush the enemy. What God does is say, I love you so much that I will give you exactly what you desire so that I can teach you who I am, be it this lifetime or the next, be it now or then, be it now or many times, but eventually you will learn, because all return back to God. Religion must be left. It must be left in order for freedom to take place. Yes, there are good fruit from the religious path. Certainly, there are good components of the religious path. But as the religious world attacks the New Age world, the spiritual world, they ignore the fact that there are also bad fruits in the religious world. And there are good fruits in the New Age world and spiritual world, and there are also bad fruits. So if there are bad fruits and good fruits in both, then it is not the path. It is actually looking at the fruit. And what produces bad fruit is a position of against. I am against that. I'm against that. I'm against that. I'm against that. Don't go there. Telling people don't listen, don't read. That is against positioning. And that is a weak position. Because light does not concern itself with darkness. Light just bees and is, and wherever light goes, darkness flees. And If you do not understand this, my brothers and sisters, you are not yet free. The great awakening is to understand that wherever light is, darkness is not. Wherever love is, fear is not. So much fear is an indication that there is a lack of love. Jesus says, why do you call me Lord when you do not do the things wherever I've commanded you to do? And what did he say? When they asked him, what's the greatest commandment? He said, to love the Lord, thy God, with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. And when people came to him and said, well, who is my neighbor? He said, anyone that you perceive out of your eyes, anyone you encounter. And it's not even to say, who is my neighbor, but it's to say, am I worthy of my neighbor's love? Am I worthy of your love? Are you worthy of my love? Don't worry about, do you love me or do I love you? Are you worthy of my love? See, that is the whole premise of inward reflection leads to outward correction. That's why King David wrote in Psalms, I thought on my ways and I turned my feet into thy testimony. That's why Jesus says, whatsoever you bind in heaven will also be bound on earth, and whatsoever you loose in heaven shall be loosed on earth. It is as above, so below. As within, so without. It's time for us to wake up to the present truth, not the esoteric truth. The present truth is where you are not free, there is a lack of truth. And where you are not free, there's a lack of love. Stop talking about what you're against. Speak that which you are for. Seek love. Seek truth. So many people right now falling by the wayside who at one time stood for truth, but then religion creeps in, guilt creeps in and says, well, are you following the path? Are you not preaching Jesus? Look, if you really believed in preaching Jesus, then you every single day would post about preaching about Jesus. To all the Christians out there, stop attacking people when they rise to fulfill their own purpose with their alignment to God. Why don't you rise to your purpose and your alignment to God? There is so much attacking the fore. The age of darkness is over. It's over. It's over. And I said this a long time ago to some Christian leaders. Paul wrote in Romans that the Gentiles are grafted into the vine to provoke the Jews to jealousy. I said, do you not think that the New Age world is grafted into the vine to provoke the Gentiles to jealousy? Malachi 3:6 or 4:6, Malachi says, I am the Lord, I change not. God never changes. So if he grafted into the vine the Gentiles, he's going to graft into the vine the New Age world or whatever world that you have a judgment of. And the hedging and the keeping from and the fear-based narrative is not of God. It is not of love. It is not of light. Love and light have no concern of fear and darkness. They simply go, and where they be, it flees. And I'm asking you to do some serious internal reflection right now on, are you aligned in spirit and in truth? Are you aligned in light and love? Because you will get exactly what you choose. You will. You will get exactly what you choose. And sadly, many have been sold a lie that the choosing of love and light that they've taken was love and light, but in reality, in the present moment, in the actual fruit that it bears, is darkness, it's fear, it's control, it's division, it's judgment. And I don't mean judgment of like, what is the path? I mean judgment on attacking others. And I'm saying, wake up, dear brothers and sisters. Leave these forms. You are the temple. Don't look to go to a temple. You are the temple. Who has deceived you? When did it start? You were born into a religious house? Great. What a great opportunity you have to say, yeah, I was presented this by default and I have chosen something else. That is a powerful choice. But just saying, well, this is what I was raised, this is what I believe, and not really exploring and knowing, do you really then know? Solomon went through all the religions of the world, all and mastered them all to say at the end, let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear God and obey his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Well, fearing God is not to be afraid of the Most High God. It is to give God your fear, because that's all at the end that matters, to give him your fear, because he writes that after already knowing to love God, and love means ahava, which means to give. So give God your fear and obey his commandments. What is the commandment? To love him and to love others. That's it. Let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Give God all your fear so you can create space inside yourself to receive all his love, and then love him in return and love others. It is that simple. It is that simple. When the lights go out, and they will someday, electricity, I don't know, maybe they won't, but imagine if an EMP was detonated over the entire world and you don't have your phone, your apps, your internet. This communication cannot take place anymore. There's no more churches. There's no more electricity. There's no more mosques or synagogues. There's none of that exists. You know what's left? Is man looking up into the stars, mankind observing nature again and looking at, if the tree's not worried, then why should I worry? Even Jesus said, take no thought of tomorrow, for tomorrow has enough worry of its own. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. If God takes care of the sparrow and the lily of the valley, will he not more take care of you? Leave the forms of control. Step into love and light. God is a spirit. So worship that spirit in spirit of your own and in truth. Because where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's freedom. That's the message for you today, brothers and sisters. Thank you. I hope this speaks to someone. I know it spoke. I know it's for someone. This message is for someone. I hope it resonates with you. I love you all. I bless you all with the highest love, the highest good, the highest blessing, the highest joy, and the most exhilarating freedom. This is the calling, and this is the time. My name's Lucas Mack. I'm the host of the Golden Rule Revolution, where inspiration and purpose come from treating people like people and nothing less, where I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed, the healed go out and heal others, where we can usher in the law of love and light so that we can all say, oh, how beautiful it is for brothers and sisters to dwell in unity. Thanks for listening. I'm Lucas Mack, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.